Okay, well, I'll go ahead and get things started. So I'll first let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Mark Weiser, the Department of Tropical Medicine. Um, I have a couple of roles. One is I'm the vice chair of the department. I sort of oversee all of the teaching side of our academic mission. And I'm also director of one of our master's programs called the MPH and TM. And then we have the other director. We're not sure if he's going to be able to make it, the director of the MS program. But if he can't make it, I can handle that side too. But what I'd like to do is start with, I've introduced myself, and and yeah, I thank all of you for having interest in the department and our programs. I would like to get to know you a little bit better than just your name, and only one of you is actually sharing your video right now and your face. But to go through and maybe there's somebody that's got brave and decided to show her apartment. Yeah, so that our new normal. Yeah, we don't do things face to face. We do things with via video conferencing now. But to go through and just, if you could tell me your name, although we can all read that, but you know where you're at now, or what you're doing now, or where you got your previous degrees, and maybe in one sentence or two, why you're interested in our programs. And so I'm going to start with Mckenna Devlin, since she's in my top corner.
Well, hi, I'm Mckenna Devlin. I'm currently an undergraduate. I'm working towards the undergraduate degree of public health, and I have a minor in religious studies. And so I'm coming to some of these open house meetings today just to kind of see if graduate school is something that I'm looking for. Maybe the combined degree is also in my future.
Yeah,
kind of just trying to decide.
Okay, that's perfectly acceptable. And yeah, I did see when you started saying the degree, I saw the little Tulane on your shirt. So yeah, I figured you was interested in the combined degree program, which is a very nice thing for the undergrads at a good opportunity if it fits their goals. Justin Jones, you're next on in my order of Hollywood squares.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Cool, awesome. Hi, I'm Justin. I currently am a researcher at TCU in Fort Worth, Texas. So I got my MPH last year from Yale, and yeah, I've just been trying to look at PhD programs for the next steps.
Okay, yeah, we don't get too many PhD students at this. Our PhD director, Dr. Weston, I don't think is planning on joining, but I'll do my best to field the PhD things. And I do have a little connection with Yale as well, that I had a research faculty position there before I came to Tulane, but that was a very long time ago, so I don't want to put any dates on it because I want you guys to think I'm really young and energetic.
Justin, I'm gonna make my email available, and you're welcome to reach out to me, and I can connect you with Dr. Wesson and talk to you about the PhD application process.
Oh, thank you. Thanks.
And I was going to introduce Catherine a bit later, but that kind of spurs her introduction. She's our program manager, and she'll be invaluable if you have any issues with administration or that type of thing. I don't want to misinform you. I think she's a lifelong resident of New Orleans, so she can add a little bit of New Orleans culture to it. I've been here. I wasn't going to date myself, but now I have to. I've been here 30 plus years, and so I still don't have that native thing. I mean, it's close. They accept me, but I really don't have it in that. So I don't have that juice. Catherine Hawthorne, you're showing up next to my Hollywood Squares panel.
Hi, yes, my name is Catherine. I am a recent-ish graduate. I graduated in 2019 from Bryn Mawr College with a bachelor's in anthropology with a minor in biology. And I'm primarily interested in kind of infectious disease and how it's dealt with on an international level in terms of international relations regarding infectious disease.
Great. we do those things. You're looking in the right place then. And then Yati.
Hi, my name is Ya. I'm also in Fort Worth. What up?
Oh.
I am a recent Peace Corps volunteer, got evacuated back here in March. I have a bachelor's degree in communication science and disorders, but excuse me, I'm now looking into public health, so I'm kind of bouncing around the field.
So what were you in the Peace Corps? What were you?
I was in Senegal. I was a community health volunteer.
Great. We have a lot of returning Peace Corps volunteers in our program. That it's, you know, the volunteers go out to these areas that have tropical diseases, and quite often they develop an interest in tropical disease, sometimes by firsthand experience, unfortunately. At that, but yeah, very happy. And we have nothing against Texas, although I will say a move from Texas to Louisiana will be an improvement for you. So, but we have nothing against you guys.
Hey now.
Edith Glazer.
Hi, I go by Sophia.
Sophia, okay.
I went to Tulane for undergrad actually and graduated in 2019 with my bachelor's degree in public health. And I'm now in the DC area working as a clinical cancer research coordinator, but I'm really interested in emerging infectious diseases and the relationship between that research and also climate change and environmental health. So I'm looking into Tulane's Trop Med program.
We can certainly help you out with the emerging infectious diseases, and more we're leaning toward One Health, which kind of incorporates, you know,
Right.
animals and environment, and we're kind of moved that direction. So,
Yeah.
so you're in the right place. So don't leave yet. I don't want to chase you away. Georgina Broyles.
Hello, my name's Georgina. I'm a senior finishing up my degree at the University of Michigan, so I'm in Ann Arbor right now. I actually study conservation biology with a minor in ecology and evolutionary biology. I'm very interested in parasitology, and the Tulane program comes highly recommended by my parasitology professor, which is why I am interested in learning more about your tropical medicine program.
Yeah, historically, we were the top dog in parasitology, and we still are. We've branched out a bit more. We're doing a lot with viruses and things like that now. But yeah, when I first came here, we were pretty much just doing parasites, but we still do them, and that, and a lot of our students that ultimately choose us, yeah, want to come down here and learn more about those worms and protozoa and stuff like that. So the last one I haven't missed anybody is Andrew and Andrada.
Hi. So I also am interested in the doctoral program. I got my master's from Johns Hopkins, and currently I'm providing a malaria surveillance, monitoring, and evaluation technical support to endemic countries through the PMI Measure Malaria project. And I've worked a lot with Dr. Eisel and Dr. Ashton over at Camry. So that's probably one of the main reasons why I'm considering Tulane. And of course, because of all the work that is being done there, especially towards reinvigorating stalled progress against malaria elimination.
Great. Yeah, so you kind of know us a little bit already, or at least some of our faculty, and especially the Camry group has got their fingers in many places throughout the world. So yeah. Okay, well,
Dr. Weiser?
Yes.
I believe, do we have Anish? Did she leave?
I saw that name earlier, but now I don't see it on my little Hollywood square.
Maybe she had to go. Okay, so
or she had a technical problem, got booted off, and will rejoin us. But no, I did see. But yeah, my screen I'm looking at now, I'm not seeing Anish any longer. So
we'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, just keep an eye out. So anyway, pleasure to meet all of you, and all of you have certainly done your homework. You've certainly identified some of our strong points already. But give you a little bit of overview on our programs. We have 3 basic degree programs. One's the PhD. A couple of you are interested in that, and we can try to field some of those questions that you might have in regard to the PhD. And then we have 2 master's programs. One is an MPH and TM. And this is more or less the MPH degree, but we put an and TM on it to sort of emphasize the fact that we're going to focus a lot in infectious diseases in this program. So that makes us a bit unique compared to other MPH programs. In addition, we have a little unique thing. I don't think any of you are clinicians, but we also have sort of a concentration within that for people with an MD degree or similar degree and students concurrently enrolled in the Tulane Medical School, where if you complete that program, you can get this, it's a certificate by the American Society of Tropical Medicine, so you can sit for the exam. Now, I would like to introduce another a person that's in our little Hollywood squares, and that's Dr. Maggie Celio, and she's a clinician, and we've got her on board in case there are questions. But anyway, we'll have her introduce herself, and if questions do come up about the clinical program, she can help us out with that.
So, all right. So, yeah, so I'm Maggie Celio, a pediatric infectious disease specialist here at Tulane. And I'm the co-director of the clinical program with Dr. Rajan. So, yeah, so most of the students we have, so I'm part of as well as the MPH program, but then we have the subgroup is the students who do our program. So the classes are somewhat similar, but there is a clinical track involved, and it's veterinarians who can do it, nurses. It's not just doctors. So it's anyone who has, like a medical student. We've had dentists in the past, veterinarians in the past. So our recent graduate from the program just got an offered EIS. So it's a great program. I think we do good work here. So.
Yeah, and I concur that historically the clinical program was sort of this clinical track or concentration, whatever you want to call it, was sort of our major program, and I kind of also, even though none of you expressed it, but we do always have a few students who are somewhat interested in going to medical school, or they're debating it. And we're actually kind of a good program for those of you who are thinking, well, do I want to do public health? Do I want to do research? Do I want to do medicine? And that we do all of them. And all of the people with these different interests are all mixed. And so within a lot of our classes, you're going to have practicing physicians and perhaps DVMs or other clinical professionals, as well as students from the medical school and that. So we have a pretty diverse array, and so that's another attractive feature. This we don't separate out, we don't discriminate against the clinicians. We don't separate them out. We mix them together with everybody else, and we're all one big happy family. And we do have our disagreements, but we keep it very civil.
Family, yeah.
we do keep it civil.
So we do have, so I heard some students expressing interest in different countries. So we do have programs in Peru and in Sierra Leone. And then I think hopefully it's the one in Sierra Leone starting up next fall. And that we, John Shefflin that works on arboviruses. So he has the program that's been there a while in Sierra Leone. So there's different opportunities for the students here to work with different faculty members who aren't necessarily per se part of the School of Public Health, but we do collaborate with the medical school.
Oh yeah, we got very good at some universities. There's a kind of a war between public health and the School of Medicine, and at Tulane there's no war at all. In fact, we collaborate on many things. The two schools are 2 blocks apart, so they're physically close together, and there's a lot of interactions. And she mentioned John Shefflin. He's a former graduate of our program. He got his MD and a master's degree from our program, and he's still here, and he's doing some great work.
We also have a lot of collaboration between departments, because we have faculty who are on our faculty, but they're also affiliated with other departments within the School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine. And then in some of our plans for some of our study abroad programs and other study abroad international opportunities, we're talking about partnering with the ecology and evolutionary biology folks and the environmental science folks in Brazil to do something, projects around waterways and environmental public health issues and things like that. So I think one of the things that is really interesting about the School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine at Tulane, and the students who have studied here before can attest to this, is that there's a lot of opportunities for you to do things outside of just one department. There's a lot of cross collaboration and opportunities, and also with other schools, which I think is just amazing.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Maggie.
I forgot to mention Richard Oberhelman as well. So Richard was part of our group for a long time, went to chair another program, and now he's back with us again, and he has a great program in Peru with Valerie Pasoldan. So
yeah, but very happy to see Richard rejoin our department.
Yeah.
Although he was just one floor away the whole time and still interacted with us quite well.
Right.
But yeah, those are certainly all, and to follow up on Catherine's point on interactions with different departments of schools. Some of you may be attending other ones for other departments. You can't decide, you know, maybe you think I want to do one in epidemiology, maybe one in trop med. Yeah, we try to keep all those doors open. And in fact, if you would join one program and then when you got here and realized, hey, this wasn't the right match for me, at the Tulane School of Public Health, it's very easy to switch programs. And in fact, the rules are such that if the student wants to switch and the other department accepts them, the department they're in can't stop it. That and we kind of recognize sometimes, you know, when you're just reading the web pages and talking to us that, you know, sometimes maybe the nuances of the programs aren't that clear. And once you get here, when they're clear, you realize, no, I really, you know, this other program fits me. And so if you would join us and then later realize, oh, I should have been an epi or environmental health or one of the others, we'll support you in your move. We'll do our best to make sure you end up in the place that you're at. But again, the MPH&TM is our main master's program. It's a professional degree. It's more or less an MPH, but it's got this little twist to it. Our other master's program is an MS, and this is an academic degree. And so it requires research and writing a master's thesis. And so it's a very standard MS degree. You would take elsewhere. And we have a lot of very exciting research projects, a lot of good faculty that are very happy to support students in doing their research. And this has been kind of a new foray for us. We've only had this master's program running for a little bit over 2 years now. And it's been very successful. And fortunately, Dr. Dumente is very busy. And we was hoping he could join us to make the hard sell for those of you who are interested in a more academic degree or doing research. But it's been under his leadership, the program's done quite well. And I know last May I was very impressed. We had 6 graduates, and I went to all of their thesis presentations, and I was very impressed with the caliber of the research and the originality of it and how well it was done. So for those of you who are interested in that side, from the introduction, I gather most of you are more interested toward the public health. We got 2 PhD candidates, so they're very interested in research, very intense research, I might add. So we have that program. In all 3 of our programs, we kind of have a core group of courses that everyone takes. And so the 2 master's programs, there's some different courses between them, but they have a lot of the common courses. And so within your first year, like if you would start the MS and then later you realize, no, I'm kind of more interested in pursuing a career in public health, and the MPH and TM would be the better degree. It's fairly easy to switch between those programs, and what we'll do is we always supply the students with both of the guidelines for both programs and encourage them to read both just in case they do want to switch, so they know the differences in courses and they can plan for that. So again, our two masters, one is academic and MS, one is professional, the MPH and TM, and then we have the beyond that we have the PhD program, which is also an academic degree requiring research, and in that case a fairly long dissertation. That's sort of all I have for the introductory spiel. I guess we can open it up for questions to delve deeper into the topics you're particularly interested in. And this could include not only the programs, but we got our resident New Orleans expert here. If you want to know more about the city, we'll have Catherine tell you some of the interesting and rather unique things that New Orleans offers as a place to live. Don't believe all the national media, all the bad stuff. They only talk about hurricanes and the bad stuff. Yeah, we have those, but we always survive them, and we always come through. So, any questions or things people would like further elaboration on?
So one of the things that I was talking to one of our master's students earlier today, and I knew I was going to be on this session this afternoon, and I asked her, you know, what is it that really made her appreciate her graduate education at Tulane? And she talked to me about some of the other schools that she had considered attending. And she said that the thing that she really appreciates the most about the MPHTM and the School of Public Health is that the practicum for the MPH degree, the practicum is actually a required component of your degree. So it's not like an internship. It's not just that's encouraged. It's actually built in the degree. And the curriculum is designed to give you you know, some students actually that's all they do for 1 or 2 semesters is they're working and their practicum, and they're enrolled as a full-time student through their practicum, but that is what their study is for several semesters. And as Dr. Weiser and Dr. Cilio can both attest, the school and the faculty really work with students to help identify the area that they want to get this professional experience in. And really work with them to develop opportunities. And so when you graduate from Tulane with your MPHTM, you actually have experience working in the field professionally, not just, you know, not just doing a couple of weeks or a couple of months or summer. I mean, it can be as intensive as you like. There's also lots of opportunities offered throughout the school and the different departments to get experience and engaged in a variety of other ways. There's all sorts of development opportunities academically, professionally. Our Masters of Science students are not just writing about science, they are in the labs, they are conducting original research with our research faculty who are full-time researchers. That's what they do. Tulane is a research institution. Our doctoral students are, you know, we've spent a lot of time really working with them, not just on their academic development, but their professional development, exposing them to the field, not just in academia, but trying to connect them with, you know, scientists, with people working in NGOs and government organizations, and encouraging both master's and PhD students to attend conferences and seminars, and I'm getting ready to send out a call for applications for a travel grant for our students who are interested in participating in some of our conferences. So while I can't personally speak about a lot of other master's and doctoral programs in public health, I can tell you that one of Tulane University's primary goals is to give students the hands-on experience to help them identify and achieve what their professional long-term goal is. We have an enormous number, Dr. Cilio herself can talk to you about this, we have an enormous number of doctors, faculty, researchers who did their graduate work here at Tulane, among other places. So, and then, you know, again, there is something really unique about studying infectious diseases and doing this research in New Orleans as opposed to other places.
Yeah, those are all very, very good points. And kind of relate, I'm seeing the chat. We got a couple questions in the chat that I can deal with. The first one was addressing sort of the things that we have two Catherines, one asking and then one our program manager. You know, what's the big difference or the practical difference between the MS and the MPH and TM? And in some regards, when you look at them, they're very similar in terms of content and the information and the learning. But the big difference is, you know, one is doing that research and writing that thesis, and the other is getting some practical hands-on experience with the practicum and that. In terms of what that's going to do down the road, it may not make a big difference in that, you know, students all the time that get the master's degree might end up with a job in public health and vice versa. But generally, if you think you're going to be more practice oriented, doing a job in the public health field, or perhaps going to medical school, the MPH and TM would probably serve you a little better. But the MS wouldn't exclude any of those things. From it. So again, it's sort of, yeah, one's geared more toward professionals that are going to work in public health. One's geared more toward people who want some research experience, and they may go on and do more research later, or they may go in and do essentially practice in that. And so again, the coursework requirements are very similar between the two programs. But with the MPH and TM, you have to do this practicum, and also you have to write something we call a public health analysis. It's sort of like a long-term paper. It's not a thesis by any means, but you will have to do some writing. And then on the MS side, you would do the spend several months either in the field or in the lab or wherever else doing you know, original research, and then write those results up in the form of a thesis of that. The other question that came up is how long is the TropMed cohort?
How large?
Or how large? I was going to answer it, how large. Yeah. Well, I'll deal with the long one in case that comes up, is that generally the MS program takes 2 years. Depends on, because you have to do that research. The MPH and TM, if you're kind of organized about everything, it can be done in about 1.5 years. So say students who enter in the fall, most students enter in the fall, some of those students will be graduating in the following December. So it's like a full calendar year plus 1 semester. So some students graduate early, but you know, if you have to work part-time, or if you got other things, that very often stretches out to 2 years. The MS is generally going to be 2 years, or depending on how exciting your research project is and how much you get done on it, maybe slightly longer, maybe 2 years plus a summer. In terms of the cohort, the last couple of years, and this current year I really can't judge because we have this whole COVID-19 thing going on, messing up things. Last couple of years we've been a little bit lower than normal. We've probably been bringing in about 25 to 30 new students in all 3 programs every year. Usually PhD program, just 1 or 2. MS, probably about 5 or 6, and then the remaining in the MPH and TM. So that means it's relatively small. Previously, we were running more in the 40 range, and I hope we can get back up to that number. I think that's a good number. It's still small enough that it's personal. We can give you a good personal experience but it certainly helps us, you know, to be a legitimate program, to have students more in the 40 range. What I found, if we get up into the 50 range, is too much. Then we have a hard time, you know, delivering a quality product. And And so what you can expect for class sizes, in the MPH and TM program, since it is an MPH, you have a core curriculum that all MPH degrees have. We call them foundational courses. That's 15 credits. So those courses are going to be the largest, and they're generally going to be around 50 students of that. And then you have your specialty requirements, and that's going to be whatever program or department you're in, it's going to be those requirements. And so since we typically bring in, let's say, 25 to 40 students a year, those courses are going to be more or less in that size range, like that. And then the elective courses tend to be quite small because they're highly specialized. So a lot of times the elective courses are 5 or 6 students, and usually not more than 10 or 12. So we're not super small, but we're not super big either. We're kind of in that nice, sweet, medium spot. And again, those numbers are a mix of all the different programs. That if you're taking, courses only required for, say, the MS a degree. Granted, a lot of the MPH and TM students take those as electives. They may be a little bit smaller than that.
So
I
Dr.
assume
Weiser,
that's what
I know
what
Dr.
he's asking.
I know Dr. Cilio has to prepare for her exam, but I wanted to ask her, because I personally find some of these things so fascinating. Can you share with our session some of either the practicum or the PHAs that your students are either working on now or recently, that just to give them an idea of some of the opportunities?
Well, so I work at the state health department for tuberculosis. So I've had students do projects with us through the clinic, doing more like surveys or looking at patients who were in jail and then weren't getting tested appropriately and were coming up positive for tuberculosis instead of LTBI. So we tried, one of the students was trying to travel with a questionnaire of the patients questionnaires that had to be done at the jail to improve that. We're doing more LTBIs versus actual active cases to decrease the amount of active cases that we were seeing. I had another student work on Clostridium difficile, which is a problem for multi-drug resistant organisms that people can get this chronic diarrhea called C. diff. And then I had another student who worked with like the Office of Public Health, I'm not sure if it was Texas, I think it was Arizona, but she was the veterinarian. She was looking at extended spectrum beta-lactamase producing organisms in animals, in farm animals, and how that translated into humans. So that's some of the projects. I also do a lot of HIV research, clinical research in HIV. So some of the students who have shown interest in HIV or in adolescent care, we have a great program here. We're involved in HIV vaccine trials. Actually, this trial is coming up soon. So they can work with Dr. Devlin and myself if they're more interested in being out in the community, doing HIV work. So other avenues. And then some other avenues we had is, again, working in Dr. Shefflin's and Dr. Robinson's lab, looking at dengue as well as Lassa and Ebola. So
lots of different opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the practicum experience is essentially
whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. And usually when I'm advising students on how to choose the practicum, my advice is usually, well, find something you think you're going to enjoy, because if you hate doing it every day, it's not going to be a good experience. But I always say you got to start looking for the future, that you can use your practicum to open the next door, because no matter how much you love us and love being here, it's going to be a short period. And you will move on to other things. And so, for example, if you think you want to work in a more classic public health field, you might do something like an internship at a Department of Public Health. Or if you're leaning toward going to medical school, you'd probably want to do one where you're either doing something like shadowing physicians or working in some sort of clinic where you're kind of seeing how these things work on a day-to-day basis. A lot of our students are very interested in international things. I mean, right now we have a little wrench in the works with the COVID, that a lot of the international practice aren't being allowed, but this is going to pass, and so we'll allow them. So generally about 1/3 of our students will do something overseas. Whether it's in South America or Africa, are the two places we have the most sort of roots in right now. But we have quite a few in Asia as well. And usually how that works is your first summer, you'll spend you'll do the practica over the summer, and you'll spend the summer overseas, or even if you stay domestic, you might spend it in another city or something like that, or sometimes I tell students, because you usually do the practica at the end, that if you know what city you want to live in after you live here, one thing you can do is do the practicum in that city. So that would, again, it's kind of opening the next door so that you can kind of get your toe into the job market and whatever that city is, and begin things like that. But essentially, if you read our guidelines on the practicum, you're going to say, that told me nothing. It was so vague and general that I don't know what to do. Well, it's by design. We want you to choose something that fits you. Not we don't want to tell you what fits you best, because we really don't know. In that, so that's the other thing on the practicum.
So Dr. Weiser and Dr. Cilio, is the type of research opportunities that you were describing as the practicum and things like that, do you need to have prior lab experience to assist with the lab research, or is that something that, if you're taking lab courses in your master's program, would you be able to assist with, like, Dr. Sheffield and some of the things that you were describing? Do you have to have that prior experience?
From what I understand from the students, I don't think so. I don't know certain labs. So I know in Dr. Robinson's lab or in John's lab, no. That's because they're being taught how to do PCRs, work with monoclonal antibodies. So yeah, that's.
What about in the MS program, Dr. Weiser? Is that something that they teach you while you're here, or do you have to have?
No, it's something that it's with the understanding that those of you coming straight off of a bachelor's degrees, and I'd say most of the students in the program now are coming straight off of a bachelor's degree, you don't have that opportunity to get that experience. So yeah, we recognize that, and we realize that's a possibility. And just from my own personal experience, I did my undergrad at a very small college in Indiana, and I went straight into a PhD program, and I was very apprehensive about this, because I thought, oh, everybody else is from these larger universities. They've all had a whole lot of experience when I did the PhD at Minnesota, when I saw the M, the big capital M for Georgina, I was thinking it was Minnesota, but it turned out to be Michigan instead. But what I found out after I got there is that, well, even those undergrads who went to went to a large university, their opportunity to do research and one-on-one interactions with professors was essentially zero. That only the very brightest and the best actually got that opportunity. And so in the end, I didn't have this I was at no more of a disadvantage than the other students. So and that's kind of the reason you're pursuing a graduate degree, is to gain this experience. But at the same time, many of our students are people who have been out working for a while. So again, it's that our big mix. You'll be in classes with students who do have experience that you can network with and learn more about how different professions work, and actually network with about opportunities for a practicum or opportunities for a job after you graduate.
So I'm going to have to sign off, guys. I got to finish the lab exam that we have to. We have midterms today. So, but if there are any questions, Catherine, you give them my email. Be more than happy to answer any questions. All right. So, and thank you, Mark. So.
Thanks, Maggie. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. So.
I'm trying to type this email, and I hate this keyboard.
Yeah, I'm running out here I'm getting behind on my chat thing.
Are the MPHTM and MS accepting GRE scores this year? My understanding is that for the upcoming academic year, we are waiving that for the master's programs. Dylan, is that still correct?
Yeah. Yes. Thumbs up.
Yeah, that's correct.
So Dylan, also I know you may want to circle back, yeah, because Tulane does have a really large contingent of people returning from the Peace Corps. And so that would be if she's still on, that would be a
No, it looks like
conversation.
she's left.
I also just wanted to tell Andrew and Justin, I would definitely be happy to talk to you in more detail about the PhD program, because that it's very individualized. But in general, I just wanted to let you know that that if you were interested in applying for fall 2021, you should be prepared to get all of your information and complete application and everything in no later than December. That's not a hard deadline, but since most of the PhD students are funded differently than some of the other programs, the earlier the better. And rather than thinking of it as a straight, just fill out the application, submit your documents, we definitely have a little bit more to it than that. So I would encourage you to just reach out to me, and I'll connect you with Dr. Wesson, who's the director of the PhD program. And by all means, please, 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 you're encouraged to reach out to any faculty with whom you were interested in doing research. That's also very important.
And just to follow up on the GRE things, that it's been confirmed we're not looking at, but the school has been talking about eliminating it completely as a requirement for the masters, and I'm fairly supportive of that. My personal experience has been the GRE scores are not that predictive in terms of how well a student will do in our programs, and so I read all the master levels applications, and so I usually, even when we do require it, I kind of make that a minor component of my decision. I find, students past performing in courses and some of the other experiences they have are much better predictors than, the standardized test score of that. But yeah, for now, at least for the coming year, you don't have to worry about scheduling this exam and stressing about it. That you can certainly leave it off in that.
Dr. Weiser, would you say to the master's students, if they have any concerns about an area that they feel might be, have questions about, like if their background and experience, and whether it's the math or the science, et cetera, their ability to do well in all of our courses, do you suggest that they reach out to you, or just include that in their application, or what is your recommendation?
Yeah, well, I was getting ready to sort of follow up on that. I'm going to say some students, their undergrad grades may have not been that well, especially if they're below 3.0. And certainly in that case, the standardized test scores might help a bit with that. So it might be worthwhile in that. But I also always encourage in that personal statement. A lot of students feel we don't read those. I read them, and that's usually what I base my assessment of the application on highly, is that if there were issues that did affect your grades, don't make excuses, but explain the situation. I mean, sometimes, you may have had a severe illness, or perhaps, a family member very close to you had a severe illness, or even died during one semester, and that kind of spilled over into 2 or 3 semesters and that. But certainly anything, in your personal statement that don't write it again. Don't make it sound like you're making excuses for doing poor, but describing the situation and saying, this is something in there. So I usually encourage students to be somewhat forthcoming about anything like that in the personal statement. If you are worried about, especially if a grade's below 3.0, that's sort of our cutoff line. We will dip below that if we feel the student will be able to complete the program. One thing I just hate is accepting students in and then they don't finish. It really kind of breaks my heart. And I once the student is here, I spend a lot of effort to make sure they complete the program and finish it. That because I'm not going to lie to you, we're making it sound all easy and rosy. Our program is pretty rigorous. It's a lot of information and we go quite far in depth. So it is a rigorous program. But I think at the end of the day, most students who leave the program are very satisfied with the program and they feel like they've learned a lot during that period. So I see Anish joined us. Did you have specific questions for us, Anish? I noticed you were here and then you had to leave for a while.
No, I'm actually just trying to get some basic information. I appreciate that. I'm sorry I had to step away. But I'm actually an infectious disease fellow at Tulane, and I kind of wanted to get some.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, so, Anish, you missed Dr. Cilio, but I put her email. I put her email in the chat. Dr. Cilio is the co-director of the Clinical Tropical Medicine Master's Program, which that coursework is included with the diploma course. So definitely, we're happy to answer any questions here, but please reach out to Dr. Cilio as well.
Sure, I'll do that. I think that might be easier. Just, yeah, because I don't have as much information as I think I probably need. So, yeah, I'll reach out to her. Thank you.
And then also Dr. Persak, who also teaches in the program, he works very closely. I'm sure you know him with the Tulane IDs. We actually currently have 2 Tulane IDs doing the diploma course.
Right. Okay. I will. Thank you.
So any other questions? This worked out about right. We've almost hit the magic 50-minute mark where people start losing their attention.
Does anybody have any questions in general about Tulane or tropical medicine or New Orleans or anything else? It doesn't have to be specifically about the curriculum. Well, I know the 2 people with the Tulane connection have been here. Who else has been to New Orleans or spent any time in New Orleans? Justin, do you have family here, Justin?
I've been once. Actually, my family is in the Atlanta area, so it's not too far.
Not too far.
But yeah, I've been New York. Yeah, New Orleans was a lot of fun. So yeah, fun city.
It is a lot of fun. But one of the things, especially now, it's really important to remind everyone that New Orleans can sell itself, and especially now under COVID, I always am grateful that Tulane University and the School of Public Health and the programs themselves, it's awesome to be here, but once you're actually here and you're studying, that's what you're really dedicating most of your time and attention to. And so we don't rest on the laurels of being in such a robust city, right? Because our program would be, I think, attractive regardless of where it is, because it really is that substantive.
So anything else? Yeah. Dylan, did you have any parting words since you were technically the host here?
Hey, just the next round of applications, our priority deadline, I'm sure y'all might have already said this, is October 15th. That priority deadline is for us to guarantee that we can at least consider you as an applicant for any scholarship, awards, or anything of that nature. And the application deadline is November 15th for this coming semester. So I'll also put my email in the chat section if you guys ever want to email me. Department specific questions are obviously better asked to the department, but if you have any general questions about the school or admissions, you can always send me an email.
I'm also putting, you can also just remember, tropmed@tulane.edu is our department email. except I'm spelling it wrong, so that would not be helpful. So if you didn't write it down from the chat, or you come up with something later and you can't remember, if you email tropmed@tulane.edu, one of our graduate assistants, who are all Tulane students at different levels, either medical students or MPHTM students, or some combination, they will route it to the correct person. Thank you so much, everyone. We're so delighted that you're considering us, and I hope to see some of you same time this spring or summer when we start doing the preparing for our new class.
Yeah, ditto from me, and don't hesitate to email me if you want to talk more. We can either do Zoom conferences. If you find yourself in New Orleans and you want to see the school and visit with us, we're open. You just have to stay 6 feet away from everybody and only 2 people in the elevator at a time. But other than that, we're open. So.
Yeah, and if you come see us,
oh yeah,
we'll give you one of our beautiful Trop Med masks.
Yeah. Right now, I got a whole collection. I got Trop Med ones. I got School of Public Health ones. I got Tulane University. I got Tulane University School of Public Health.
You can never have too many
and
masks.
Trop Med. So you got to wear your mask also when you're in the building.
Yeah, because we say we're doing a combination of in-person and remote classes. We've got classes that are designed to be both. We've got classes that are remote only, depending on the faculty. Tropical medicine has some classes that are right now in-person only, mainly because they're labs for obvious reasons. But so it's been, I think, going pretty well. As Dr. Weiser and I were talking about, if the School of Public Health and Tropical Medicine can't get this right, I don't know who can. But I've got a son who's an undergraduate on the Uptown campus, and they're doing rigorous testing, and and we are adapting. And I think that it's a really unique time to be studying public health, right? I mean, it really is, both in terms of the practice itself, just being here, and then also studying about it. And I think, Dr. Weiser, we've got a lot of people who are actually involved in doing grant research on, for COVID-19 related things, like at the Primate Center, et cetera, and it's students who are working in their practicum or in their research related to COVID-19. So it's
yeah, most of the practica right now, probably a large percentage of they're doing something associated with COVID in some way. Yeah, no, we jumped right in both feet into this COVID thing. So.
Oh, and for those of you who are unaware, the Department of Tropical Medicine, some of our faculty are actually at the Tulane Primate Center across Lake Pontchartrain, which is a whole nother facility, research facility. And they do, just all kinds of things, but it's one of the, what is the rating? I always forget. It's one of the biohazard rating. It's one of the few.
Oh, with the 4, they have.
Yeah.
They have 4. Well, we actually
have a
3. We have a 3.
We're here. We're a 3. I think they're a 4.
I think they're just a 3. There's only like 1 or 2 4s in the whole country. I think
whatever
there's one
San
in Atlanta,
Antonio
there's one, and there's one at Fort Detrick, of course, the military.
Yeah.
But they could be, but I think they're only a 3 also. The biosafety level designation.
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities. We've got, Justin, some of our doctoral students are actually doing most of their research with the faculty who have their labs at the Primate Center. So lots of different opportunities.
Awesome. Well, I do have to end this session for the next session. I hate doing that, but thanks to everyone for joining us today.
Thank you, Dylan. Bye-bye, everybody. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.